102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It is the Wednesday edition. He is Big Joe Dubin back in the saddle. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your day so far. Joe, welcome back. We missed you yesterday.
Well, it was good. I was out catching Coldplay at the Rose Bowl, and I took the red eye and got back about 30 minutes ago. So
Nice.
It's all good. Yeah,
That was good. You went out with, did you go with the coach or who'd you go with?
Solo.
Oh, nice.
I take solo trips to kind of discover more about myself, and so I went out there, and it was a great time. And so Chris Martin, our old friends.
Nice.
So he's like,
Good.
hey,
I've been waiting for you to discover some things about yourself for a while.
right?
So.
He's like, come on out here. You know, while we're playing on the coast for a few days. He's like, come out to the coast, relax a little bit. So I went out there.
Come to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
So it was didn't run into him out there, John McClain, but we have John McClain at
We do.
9:30.
We do. He's going to join us today. We'll get the latest in the NFL. And I have a question that I have been tasked with asking him from one Jared Stillman.
Okay.
And I pay attention.
Why does Tannehill stink?
Nope,
Is that
it's
it?
not that. John is a historian of the Houston Oilers / Tennessee Titans franchise.
Okay.
Where does Derrick Henry rank in the all-time greats in the franchise?
See, I got a problem with that question
Why?
because you can't, how do I put it this way? When somebody says he's the best player the Oilers have ever had, position player, you can't say he's the best player they've ever had, right? Because Derrick Henry can't play defensive end, right? Elvin Bethaye's in the Hall of Fame because he was an amazing defensive end. Elvin Bethaye can't play running back. Derrick Henry can play running back, right? I mean,
Sure, but you have these conversations all the time of I think people view Eddie George as the best Titan ever.
Well, as far as impact, yes. But as far as the best player, is he the best running back? Is he the best offensive lineman? That's where I get lost on that because
So you don't like lumping everything together.
I don't. When the NFL does the top 100 list, like number one is whoever it was, Cooper Kupp or whoever it was a couple of years ago. I don't know, probably top 10. But that's just I think they go position wise. Like Kevin Byard's the best safety in the National Football League. He's not the best Titans. I get lost in all that stuff.
Okay.
I know it sounds stupid, but I'm not a fan of all that.
So right now today, where is Henry at the running back position franchise-wise?
I think he's third.
So you still have him behind. Do you have Campbell or Eddie first?
Earl Campbell.
So Campbell, Eddie,
Yeah.
and then Derrick Henry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have him there. And that's just, it's my opinion. No opinion's correct.
Sure.
And so where do you have him? You're a big homer, probably number one.
No, I don't have him number one. I think I have him. I mean, look, he just passed Earl Campbell on the rushing list. So, I would probably have him number two behind Eddie.
Okay, even though he always had less carries, but he's also
Sure.
had more games.
Sure.
So there's a lot to be
Well,
debated with
more
that.
games than Earl Campbell?
Well, Campbell only played with the Oilers from 78 to 83, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then Eddie was 96 to 2003, and then Derek has been 16 till now. 8
Right.
years.
Well, he's played. Yeah, he's definitely
but
played less games.
there's
than
no right or wrong. It's just an
No,
opinion.
no.
so.
And look, it's a silly discussion.
No,
And-
it's fine.
It's a fun discussion for what we do. But
Yeah.
But and the reason this came up is because he just passed Earl Campbell.
Right.
And
Okay.
and so
I get all that.
and he's what 1,400 yards behind Eddie now,
Something
I
like
think?
that, yeah. So what quarterback? Do you go Moon or McNair?
That's a tough one.
It is.
It's a very tough one.
Because we saw McNair here before our eyes. We saw Moon on television in the late 80s and 90s with the run and shoot, which was a fun offense to watch. So I don't know where it is there.
And you know what's funny that whenever you have discussions like this, there's a cop-out answer that everybody uses. Well, it was different eras.
Right, yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's
that's
different
true.
I'd probably go Warren Moon. Warren's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Warren was a fantastic quarterback. You could go down position, all the positions and everything else, and I played fantasy football in the late 80s and 90s, and we'd gobble up Oiler players because the run and shoot was so prevalent, and guys catching 8, 10, 12. Like Haywood Jeffries was just fascinating to me because the guy was always open.
Yeah.
But you put Derek Mason on those run and shoot teams, and he's as good as Webster Slaughter or
Sure.
Ernest Givens or any of those guys. So
Well,
it's where you were at the time and what offense is being played.
And it's easier too with to separate the Oilers and the Titans into two different teams, two different entities.
Right.
And like if you're talking strictly Titans, okay, McNair's the best. Tannehill's probably the second.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for everybody that wants to hate on Tannehill, it's like, well, if you go and look now, obviously they haven't been able to hit on quarterbacks really, consistently since McNair. So,
Right.
But that's kind of how it would be, and then it would be Eddie or Derek, whichever one. I think when it's all said and done, you're gonna have Derrick Henry number one. He's on that track now.
Because
beyond
he's
this
fresh.
year, who knows? Yeah.
He's fresh on us, man. Right now, he's fresh in our memories and our
Have
minds.
you seen how he dresses? Yeah, he's very fresh.
He is fresh kid, man.
He needs 1,389 yards. That's basically what he needs.
And
Dr. Crane.
I'll tell you, he does not get him as a Tennessee Titan.
Really?
I don't think.
Well, I mean, that means he would. This is just for this franchise. So, I mean, that would, if he doesn't get that, then he won't surpass Eddie.
Yeah, I just think that they'll move on next year and be.
I'm starting to think that.
Yeah, you can have an opinion, pal.
I do have opinions. I have plenty of opinions.
He's. I don't think he's back, but that's we'll discuss that when he's officially gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I hope it's not the case because I think he's got a couple more years left in his tank. But I mean, it's not like when Earl Campbell. We talked to John McClain about this. When Earl Campbell was done, it's because Bum Phillips ran him every play. I mean, they wore him down. And you go tell me that Earl had the same training regimen that Derrick Henry had? There's no way. And Derrick has not had any major injuries. He had the broken foot, but there's no knee. There's nothing like that, thank God. So he might have 3-4 years. Who knows? I mean, the guy is just unique in himself and nothing like the NFL's ever seen.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Drive it.
Rashad in Smyrna says, Joe, the question is really if you had all of the Titans Oilers greats in a draft, who would you draft first?
Man, probably Alvin Bethea was really good as a pass rusher. Who's in the Hall of Fame? Munchak,
Matthews,
Bethea,
Warren
Robert
Moon,
Brazil,
Earl Campbell, Brazil.
I'd go Earl Campbell. I'd go those first
Kevin
couple.
Y.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, he was there.
Played 3 years here. 3 important years.
I'd go Earl Campbell. That's a great question, though. I'd go Earl Campbell.
I'd probably go.
What was that? Trombone to go over there?
That's my thinking. That's what I do. I mean, I'd probably go Warren. I mean, quarterback's the most important position. I mean, I know.
Who's a better Warren? Warren Moon or Warren from Something About Mary?
Warren Moon.
Franks and beans.
That's a great question.
That is. So I go Earl Campbell just because those first couple of years Earl Campbell was just. I mean, the Monday Night Football game where he ran over the Dolphins. I mean, I vividly remember that.
Ben says, not being mean, LOL. I'm just confused. How did you play fantasy football in the late 80s? Paper and pen?
We did. I told you this. We did. And then the final stat was, all right, so the games would be flashed on the board and be like, hey, Warren Moon was 18 of 22, 244 yards, second quarter. But we had agreement. It would not be official till it came out on the USA Today on Monday and then the Monday night game on Tuesday. That was our official stats. Then every Wednesday we'd have our draft and the NFL and the USA Today would combine all the stats in the paper and you'd read it. That's how we did it.
I love that.
You'd have to wait. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I lost a game one time when Brad Baxter from the Jets scored a touchdown. He played at Alabama State, Alabama A&M. He played for the Jets. Great 1-yard running back. Scored a touchdown that they did not show. I'm like, I'm going to win this, but I got to wait till tomorrow, and I lost by 3 points because the guy I was playing had Brad Baxter.
I bet you slept just so anxiously that night.
I had to stop playing. I told Chase I had to stop playing fantasy football because the mental stress on me drove me insane. I mean, it drove me insane. When you would lose on a 2-point, you'd have to stay up and watch the 49ers play the Seahawks on a Monday night just so, I don't know, Jerry Rice wouldn't score, or have 2 touchdowns or something. It was just insanity.
People weighing in on this draft question. Coy in Clarksville said Bruce Matthews all day, all pro at every position on the O-line for 20 years.
Plus, he had a hairy back.
He
did.
Derek in Nolensville, you see my baseball? Warren.
Let me ask you this. Why was Brett Favre in town?
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Oh, if you know, hit the text line. Why was Brett Favre in town?
5728 says Big Joe sounds like the older gentleman that says, back in my day, gas was 89 cents a gallon, talking about Henry being third.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, do you not pull up the fact that Campbell was fantastic? I mean, you got to. I mean, you can't.
You know what? Derek's number one. He has taken over as number one, even though he hasn't passed Eddie yet. He's
in your mind
at that position. He is number one. I mean, because there was a texter that just pointed this out too that is true, and a lot came in, so I've already
not
lost
nice
it,
to point,
but that his his worst year yards per carry was Eddie's best.
Okay,
I mean. You know, and I do account that it's different eras and, you know, different defenses and the running back position has changed. I mean, that's obviously a part of it. But
all right, here's something good. Do you diminish what Frank Gifford did in the 50s and 60s? Because, so we shouldn't do that because Derrick Henry's fresh on our mind. Obviously, we're going to default to that first. But the fact that, you know, Earl Campbell, it was fresh on my mind when you weren't alive when he did all that stuff, but he was fantastic. So a lot of guys in my generation are going to say, hey, Earl Campbell – and then it's going to be Eddie George with you and the new ones. There's no wrong answer here.
No, not at all.
But I'm going Earl Campbell. If I had the draft, an Oilers-Titans draft, I'm going Earl Campbell. I mean, Munchak, nobody likes to talk about offensive line. Munchak was fantastic. He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he destroyed guys. Him and Bruce Matthews destroyed guys together. But I'm still going to go Earl Campbell.
Phil in Kentucky to play the Dolphins, but he was really there for Mary.
He was right. He was in there. I'm in the town to play the Dolphins, you blank. That's right.
That is a good movie.
That's a
classic
great movie.
For sure. 615-737-1025. You can weigh in on our text and phone line. You have a question of the day that you want to throw out there.
Yeah, so this is great. So Powerball tonight's up to $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion.
You will all know if I win when you don't see
There'll
me
be signs. There'll be signs. Yeah. I mean, I'll be here tomorrow, but will I be here tomorrow? I might have a body double come in and just sit here. So you've got to pick the Powerball number. You know, you pick the 5 numbers in the Powerball number. We want to know what Powerball number you pick off your favorite athlete. So what number do you pick off of your favorite? I think it only goes up to 70 or 60 or something. So something below that. So what number do you pick off of your favorite athlete? And yours would be, before we go to the break, is
3. Dale Earnhardt.
3, Dale Murphy.
Yeah, I figured we'd have the same number.
Right. So and I always play 3 with Dale Murphy. I always play 3.
3 is my lucky number. I play like on roulette. I'll play 3. Like it just 3 is it.
Dr. Crane's number is
15.
15 for
Jim Edmonds, St. Louis Cardinals.
Nice. That's a good one.
Number just looks good on the jersey.
I love that because I would have never thought Jim Edmonds would be a favorite player, but that's why.
As a kid, growing up, he was a little bit of a favorite player, but it was more
no
Albert
wrong
Pujols, you know.
What number was he?
5.
5. Okay. Can't go wrong there. So let us know 615-737-1025.
Very, very good. Coming up next, we'll continue the discussion with the Titans and looking ahead to the Colts. Could they potentially have a big weapon back this weekend? We'll discuss next here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game is live and local.
And now, let's meet the starting lineups.
Robbie and Rex Road 6 to 9.
Big time performance, best part of the team.
Chase McCabe 9 to 11.
An unrestricted free agent.
Caroline, Willie, and D Mace 11 to 2.
Got the big contract.
The Velvet Touch. Talking about Hall of Famers.
And Stillman and Company 2 to 6.
Kept going for it.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Smashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
DraftKings Sports and Social is bringing you the ultimate fan experience this football season with a 48-foot media wall, 22 TVs, mouth-watering game day eats, and cold beer. DraftKings Sports and Social, opening October 5th at Nashville Live on 2nd Avenue.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you just want to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are legal THC products available right here in Tennessee? Yeah, really. You can have legal THC products shipped directly to the comfort of your home. Yes, comfort in cannabis is only a website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z, and change your life today.
The game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the game at 615-737-1025.
Every day we are live and local.
You need to give Ryan Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators.
And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show.
Does your father know you're working here?
It was his idea.
In that case, I'll have a whiskey sour.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Gotta love The Simpsons. Gotta have that. Here with you on a Wednesday, taking your texts and your calls. With the Powerball being $1.2 billion, there will be signs. You're right. There will be signs.
I'll have a body double here tomorrow. You'll wait and see. I'll
pull in. I mean, it won't be tomorrow, but I don't know how long it takes for them to give you the money. And one, are you going to do the 20-year annuity, or do you just take the lump sum?
So it's like $600 million, the lump sum. Yeah. Then you have to give taxes, give 10% to the church, and then you walk away with about $300 million.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's not bad at all.
See, I might do the annuity. Because you end up with more.
Of course,
in the
you
long
do.
run.
Yeah.
So I would probably do that.
But
It'd
what
be
if
fine.
you get sick in 2 years and pass away?
Then
no, man, get the money now.
Dr. Crane will live a good life. Whoever I leave it to, I don't know.
Just but that's another question: is what will you do with them? I would just take the money. Well, I mean, $1.2 billion. I mean, it's hard
You'd
to
see me pulling in a blacked out Corvette, just souped up like no other.
That your dream car, Chase?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'd go up to Bowling Green and have them custom build it for me.
Drop you back $150,000, probably $200,000, but you got $300 million. Who cares?
Yeah,
I would have
the interest.
Yeah, true. I would have a helicopter take me everywhere, like drop me off in the parking lot here.
See, that's not a bad idea.
But I would not do that because
I'd worry. I mean,
I'm afraid of helicopters.
I'm not, but it what if something bad happened? I don't know. I mean, I guess
you can't live your life in fear, though.
Yeah.
If you live your life in fear, then you're not living life.
People are weighing in though on your Powerball number based on your favorite athlete. Adam in Clarksville, 73 for Larry Allen.
Oh, fantastic. Best probably guard of all time.
Al says 14 for Pete Rose.
Pete Rose,
I
yeah.
think you'll get a lot of Pete Rose in there. 1976 says 24 for Charles Woodson.
Not bad. Ooh, that makes a lot of Tennessee fans mad, though.
I don't like that. Josh in Kentucky, 20 for Barry Sanders. I grew up watching him in the 90s and loved every minute of it.
I just still can't believe he walked away from – and plus, the Lions ran a run and shoot with Barry Sanders, which still baffles me to this day.
Bradford – oh, is that right? Bradford says if you die, you lose the annuity.
Then don't die.
How is that?
I don't know. You got to hand
It's
it off to
yours.
somebody, I guess.
Write in a clause somewhere where it can't happen. I don't know.
Find yourself a good financial advisor to handle everything for you.
Interesting. And then 0247, thank you for the kind words. Chase, giving you a standing O. Your show is refreshing due to the fact that you play with the topics. Most shows, even some on your station, rehash the same crap 3 to 4 times an hour. Thank you. Did you write that?
You're welcome. Yes, I did. I'm 0247, yes.
Is that you?
Yeah, it is.
He also says 22 Emmitt Smith. That's a good one.
It's a great one. Yeah. You know, where did Emmitt Smith end his career?
Arizona.
That's right.
Unfortunately.
That's all right.
I don't like to – we don't like to talk about
That's okay.
1589 says 43 for Troy Polamalu.
Fantastic. And his commercials always make me laugh because they're very simple, never not working, and just showing up different places.
23 for Jordan.
Okay.
Garrison says 10 for Chipper Jones. That's a good one. I guess you can't leave it to anyone. That stinks. Sonny says 2 for Cam Newton, his number at Auburn.
Yeah, that's fine. Cam looked mighty fine on last Saturday at the Auburn
when he was
game.
there.
See that? Good for him, man. He's living like – I was watching that game in a press box, and from people who used to cover Cam in Auburn, and they were just like, he's never going to grow up. I was like, who cares? Fine, I'm never going to grow up. He just happens to have about $40 million more than I do.
Yeah. See, again, there are signs that,
Yeah, right?
He's got money. So there is, I guess, a chance Jonathan Taylor could be available for the Colts this weekend. Obviously the Titans are coming off, I would say, their best game of the year. Definitely their best game offensively.
What's the spread on that game?
Of the year. That's a great question.
It's a pick 'em. We've been discussing it on the midday show. It's like 1.
Really?
Yeah, 1.
The Titans are far better than the Colts.
The over-under
is it a pick 'em or is it 1? There's a difference.
Well, the spread is
Indy's favored by 1.
Yeah.
How's it a difference for pick 'em in 1?
A pick 'em is it is actually, it says PK, and not Paul Kuharsky.
I know, but what does that matter? I mean,
Yeah.
if the Colts are favored by 1 and Titans win, or the Colts win 17-16.
Right, then it's if the Titans are favored by 1 and the Colts, then the Colts cover.
It'd
It's
be
a
a push.
No,
It'd
it's
be a
not a push.
What?
If the Titans are favored by 1,
Colts are
the Colts
my
win
bad.
by 1.
Yeah, my bad.
But Colts are favored, and Colts win by 1.
That's a push.
Okay.
And then if it's a pick 'em, it's just whoever wins.
All right. But there's not a lot of difference between a 1 and a pick 'em.
I mean, I would say there is. If you lose by if you take the Titans plus 1 and they win by 1, then that's a push. If the Colts win by 1 and they're favored by 1 and you take them, then it's a push.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean that there is a difference. You don't win the bet.
Small odds, man. Small odds.
So the Colts are currently 1-point favorite.
Has this Taylor guy played at all?
No.
Okay. Then I don't think he'd be a factor. Is he in shape?
This Taylor guy?
Is he? I don't think he's in shape. Probably hasn't, doesn't practice a little bit. They don't like him. He don't like them.
Hang on. He's one of the best running backs in the league, and you're calling him this Taylor guy.
Well, there's a Jonathan Taylor who's on Home Improvement. So
that's Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Okay. Well, then you've got to clarify which one it is.
I did. I said Jonathan Taylor.
From the Colts.
Yeah.
I think Titans have no problem with this game. I've said that before. They lose it.
Oh, that's scary.
The Colts aren't that good. Sorry.
They're not. But I mean, are the Titans?
You want to see Gardner Minshew, right? Don't you want to see?
Yeah,
him
but you're gonna get Anthony Richardson.
I know that's the deal. And I agree with Paul Kuharsky. Like, I'm not an Anthony Richardson fan. I mean, the guy just couldn't complete a pass at Florida. Yeah, he shows out at a combine, fantastic. So did Mike Mamula. But don't tell me he's going to go win a game. I'll just go after him, pressure him, get out of the pocket. No, make him stay in the pocket. Once he's out of the pocket, he's dangerous. Make him stay in the pocket.
And that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try and keep him there and with that pass rush. And I think they can do that. The Titans front can certainly control the line of scrimmage. They're just going to have to do it on a consistent basis. And consistency is going to be the word of the week because we're all excited on Monday. Everybody's feeling good after the dominant performance on Sunday by the Titans.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, do it again. Do it consistently. It's been this up, down.
Right.
And quite frankly, they haven't played well on the road.
Well,
so I need to see them put something together on the road.
Well, do it, and that's what teams do. That's what good teams do. They consistently put together good performances. Yeah, they'll fall off every now and then, but do that and put it together. Go to London at 3-2 feeling confident. They have to. They go to London at 2-3 feeling deflated and playing a good Ravens team. That's not good. So go up there. You know the job you got to do. You've played well up there, and and plus it's a division opponent. Punish them and hit the road at 3-2. It's a double whammy for you.
It is for sure. Coming up next, John McClain. He joins us every Wednesday at 9:30. We talk Titans, NFL, all those things with him. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
They're homegrown in Nashville, discussing the biggest topics in the SEC.
The fans are going to want the rivalries to stick around. They've lost to Alabama every year.
The NFL.
What if all the top 3 quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3? You've got to draft your guy at 2.
And anything in between.
From thinking we know everything to then forgetting about everything we thought we knew the day before.
They're Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow on Outkick's Hot Mic.
Out of the gates, ready to go.
Weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
The holidays are a time of celebration and Thanksgiving. It's a time to host friends and family in your home to enjoy good food and good times. The last thing you need is an unexpected issue. If you're planning a gathering this season, take a few minutes to bring out the home experts from Lee Company. For heating, plumbing, electrical, and all your home improvement needs, Lee Company has you covered. Visit LeeCompany.com and schedule your first appointment online. Lee Company, all you need.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
If you are experiencing persistent shoulder pain that may be the result of overuse or an injury such as a rotator cuff tear or tendonitis, the world-class orthopedic team at Houston Clinic Orthopedics will give you the appropriate medical attention to prevent any additional damage to the shoulder. Chronic pain or a permanent injury may occur without proper treatment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics is conveniently located where you work and live. Visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call on the phone line, sponsored by Wilson County Hyundai.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jazz, first name Hugh.
615-737-1025.
Huge ass. Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin, Nick Frazier, Dr. Crane with you here on this Wednesday. And as we do every Wednesday at 9:30, we say hello to our pal John McClain, sportsradio610.com down in Houston. John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. What a race we got in the AFC South, the only division without a team with a losing record, and the only division with a team without a winning record.
Yeah, at this point, if I had told you through 4 games all 4 teams would be 2-2, I think you probably would have laughed at me at the start of the season, but here we are.
I would have teased. I would have laughed at you because I didn't think the Texans would be 2-2 coming off 30 and 20 and 24-point wins over Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. First time that's happened here, back-to-back since 2015, and I would have never thought a rookie quarterback was playing the way C.J. Stroud has. I thought they would beat Indy, and they lost to Indy by 11, but they've bounced back. And, you know, you guys are right there covering a team. Seems to be on a weekly roller coaster. When I think of the Titans, I think about Forrest Gump and the box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
That is very, very true. So, we've been talking about this for the last few days, that Sunday was their best offensive performance really maybe in over a calendar year. Everything that pretty much they tried except for a lateral over to Tannehill and then a deep bomb to D-Hop, which he dropped and he was mad at himself for. Everything looked really, really good for the Titans when it came to the offense. So what did you think about that performance?
That is strange about Hopkins because I remember he went through one season here. I can't remember if it was 18 or 19, his last season before Bill O'Brien traded him, which was one of the worst moves in NFL history. And he didn't have a drop the whole season. And so that's very unusual, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to drop another one in that situation. No matter what they try with the Titans, it all starts with Derrick Henry. You know, he's got to do better than averaging 3.9. And once they had that game on Sunday, everybody knows it's coming, and you still can't stop it. And Ryan Tannehill, as you guys know, because you see him on a weekly basis, if it doesn't work for Henry, it generally doesn't work for Tannehill. And, having 2 touchdown passes and like 4 interceptions is not going to cut it. But they're going to play good defense. They're going to play great run defense, only giving up one rushing touchdown. And Tim Kelly has got to reach into his bag and pull out tricks. And but they're still basic with Henry. And I know a lot of people look around the league, especially the Colts, because they're about to host them, and they thought, well, maybe Derrick Henry is not the same. Maybe Henry has hit the wall, and then he has the kind of game he had Sunday as a runner and receiver, and you go, oh, no.
Talking to John McClain. John, are we buying or selling the Texans right now after 4 games?
I picked them to lose to Pittsburgh by 3. Pittsburgh was favored by 2.5. Steelers were coming off back-to-back victories. It's not a great Steelers team, but they still had won 2 in a row, and the Texans just beat them up from start to finish. And so people ask me if I was predicting the Texans now compared to before training camp when I said 6-11, would I change it? Look, and they play an easy schedule, and they play the NFC South. You get the last place schedule, which is easier. So I might, based on Stroud staying healthy, pick them to win 7 or 8 games. But in the AFC South right now, you look at every team and what they've done, and you say, why not the Texans? Why not the Titans? Why not the Jaguars? Why not the Colts? And that's what – it may not be a great division, but it's certainly competitive and interesting, and you guys – are going to see a great example of it, and I can't wait to see the Titans going up against Anthony Richardson, who's done better throwing than I thought, but he's still primarily a runner, and what that great run defense is going to do to contain him.
What do you think about Jonathan Taylor on Sunday, putting him in there? What does it do for the Colts? Does it hurt him? Does it help him because he hasn't practiced and all the discontent with him and Irsay? How do you see this playing out on Sunday?
I'm sure he still wants to be traded. No other team's going to give him a big contract. So he's going to have to play under his current contract with the Colts or be traded under his current contract. Hope he plays well enough to get one more in line with what he wants. And if he doesn't, team will just franchise him, and he can go through this again. But if you've been out as long as he has and you haven't been practicing, having two legitimate practices during the week tells me he's not going to go out there and carry the ball 20 times. He's not going to be the Jonathan Taylor he was 2 years ago when he led the league in rushing and had, I think, 18 touchdowns. But he still might get a few carries. And the thing is, a lot of people say he wasn't injured. He said he wasn't injured. And I don't know if they've investigated that or not, but it's certainly cooled the controversy for a while, and it could be reignited. If they activate him, he's going to have a back injury. Is he going to have something wrong with him? So I don't think we will see him getting as much action as he ordinarily would. But anytime he's on the field, he certainly has to be accounted for. But the one thing you can count on with the Titans is the run defense.
Oh, absolutely. Let me ask you this about Irsay. It's great when an owner comes out and makes those comments if you're a sports writer because, we take it and run with it. But I'd imagine from the player standpoint, it's like, please be quiet. Was Bud Adams, when you covered him in Houston all those years, did he get involved in things like that? Was he as bad as Irsay of going to the press and talking about a player?
No, Bud never talked much at all about anything. Controversy he created was things that didn't have to do with on the field. One time, Bud team was playing really bad. It was in the early 80s, and they were at a function, and we got him afterward, and we asked him, what's the matter with your team? And I think he said, I think we're making too many charity appearances. And I looked at the PR guy standing behind Bud, and he's rolling his eyes like, oh, my God. But they were so bad it didn't matter. But, no, Bud never ripped his team at all. That wasn't what he was all about. Jim Irsay has, Jerry Jones talks on a weekly basis after the games and on his talk show on the radio. But Jim Irsay, he does a lot on social media that other owners don't. And his coach, his general manager, and his players wish he would put a lid on it.
John McClain is with us from Houston. Okay, so I promised somebody I would ask you this question. With Derrick Henry now surpassing Earl Campbell on the franchise rushing list, he's just a little shy of 1,400 behind Eddie George for all time. Right now, today, John, where do you rank Derrick Henry in all-time greats with the Oilers-Titans franchise?
There'll never be any player better than Earl Campbell. What he did here, came out first 3 years, led the league in rushing, led them to the playoffs 3 years, got them to the AFC Championship game, one step short of the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, and they lost in the AFC Championship game to Pittsburgh. And he did it, and he had another 1,300-yard season. There in 1983, there was a strike here in 1982 that they only played 9 games. But Earl is the greatest player in Houston, in franchise history, Houston history. He started like a house on fire, and Henry didn't. And then Henry picked up. And a lot of people think Earl got used up, and that's not what happened to him. He had a knee injury that they traded him to New Orleans, where Bum Phillips was coaching. But Earl's the best football player in Houston history, and maybe the best player in player period. When we had a Houston Sports Hall of Fame, first 3 people we put in were Earl Campbell, Nolan Ryan, and Hakeem Olajuwon, because we think they're the best in our 3 sports. But people in Nashville, of course, are going to say Derrick Henry.
Well, do you think he deserves to be in the top 5 conversation of franchise?
Of course, yeah. Now, you talking about his running backs? The debate to me is Henry and George at number 2. And but as far as players, the Oilers got a lot of guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and there's no guarantee Derrick Henry right now is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He'll certainly give serious consideration, and if he keeps this up a couple more years, he's going to be a lock.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely with that. That's the debate we've, because, it's fresh on our mind because you covered those run and shoot teams, John, with the Oilers back in the late 80s and 90s. I think Haywood Jeffries, to me, is one of the fantastic receivers of Oilers history. But you put Derek Mason on those run and shoot teams, he has probably the same results, same stats for these guys. So it's the compare and contrast that will just take us to the end of days, I guess, correct?
Well, it helped for those guys here to have Warren Moon throwing them the ball. And, he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, too. And, of course, the Titans haven't ever had anybody like Moon, and the Oilers have never had anybody like Moon. It was Steve McNair couldn't throw the ball like Warren Moon, and they haven't had anybody here that could throw it. Watson came close, but, of course, his career was derailed. And I'm not going to say anything about C.J. Stroud and Warren Moon because he's only played 4 games. But if Derek Mason and other Titans receivers had Moon throwing them the ball, they'd be right up there with the greatest in franchise history.
He is John McClain from Houston. We'll have more with him coming up next here in just a few minutes on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The Titans are 2-2 after 1 month of the season.
6 minutes, 21 seconds, 3 touchdowns. When Jeff Simmons came in the game, I was fooled.
What can they expect from the Colts this week?
Do our job and we get going. And I think a lot of that is attributed to what you do in practice.
About a 6.5-minute stretch there where the Titans looked as good as they've looked in a while.
Keep it locked to Nashville's best Titans talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
At Mercedes-Benz of Music City, a healthy and productive culture takes a day-to-day discipline. Here's Sam Cavett, General Manager, with a few thoughts.
Mercedes-Benz has its standard, and we have Dream Motor Group standards. They're definitely on the same level, but I feel like we challenge ourselves at least as much as Mercedes-Benz challenges us. It's a genuine motivation to take care of customers, and we see it in the customer reviews.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
This week's Nashville's best deal is 312 Pizza Company, serving the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. It's also a great spot to grab a beer and watch your favorite team on the big screen. 312 Pizza Company, 371 Monroe Street in Germantown. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals and get half off a $30 gift card. It's 312 Pizza Company, while supplies last.
For the love of the climb, for the love of the fall, for the love of knowing your kids' laughter is the sweetest music there is, for the love of Tennessee. Travel safe. Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Blue Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Coming up Wednesday, the Blue Raiders take on Jacksonville State in the blackout game at Floyd Stadium. Join Chip Walters and Big Joe Dubin starting at 6 o'clock.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits. Sports talk, the next generation. You're listening to The Chase and Big Joe Show.
Make it so.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, continuing our conversation with John McClain. SportsRadio610.com is where you can find his work. And John, the international series continues in the NFL as the London Jaguars, as I like to call them sometimes, will take on Buffalo. Now, Buffalo had that huge win over Miami. Do you think that that was just a result of, one, Buffalo is a really hard place to play, that's a good football team, or could you also attribute that maybe Miami had a little bit of a hangover after putting up 70 the week before?
I think that Buffalo right now is one of the top 3 teams in the league with 3 consecutive victories. They don't have their running game where they want it to be, but Josh Allen is playing great. And I thought there was a chance Miami might beat them playing up there when the weather was nice instead of having to do it in the winter. And it was just an old-fashioned butt-kicking. And Jacksonville, of course, bounced back in a big way. It just pounded the Falcons after the Texans pounded the Jaguars in Jacksonville. And some people think, oh, my goodness, that's the poor old Bills got to go all the way to London. Well, that's shorter than going to L.A. and Seattle. And so it's not going to be a big deal. The Jaguars are ensconced over there 2 weeks in a row, and they know how to deal with playing over there, not to mention the travel. So can the Jaguars rebound? Sure, they can, but I don't think they will. That team I saw Buffalo put on the field against the Dolphins is as good as any team not named 49ers.
So you don't give Jacksonville any type of advantage because they stayed over there and don't have to deal with the travel?
Oh, I think it's just like any home field advantage. The team has to travel. But in this day and age, teams travel in luxury. It's the thing about the old days of baseball when they traveled on trains that didn't have air conditioning and things like that. Today, players, coaches, they're all pampered. When they get to London, they treat them like royalty. They make sure they have every conceivable thing they want. And if the Jaguars do beat them, then people are going to start to think, okay, they are definitely the class of the AFC South. But if they lose, that's the best thing that can happen to the Titans, Texans, and Colts.
John, a lot of questions this weekend, and I was reading all these about when does Bill Belichick get on the hot seat? Does that ever happen? I mean, he can pretty much control what he wants to do, but that performance against the Cowboys Sunday was awful. Will he be on the hot seat at some point if this keeps up?
He's been on the hot seat since the offseason. The media up there said Kraft is not happy with the way they have not played better since Tom Brady left. I'm guessing he blamed Brady's departure on his relationship with Belichick, which was not bad. It was just wearing after all those years. And so right now he's got a losing record without Brady. They draft Mac Jones in the first round. He got good as a rookie, for a rookie. Then last year they stick him with 2 coaches that were defensive coordinator and special teams coach, and he struggles. So then they bring in Bill O'Brien. And they think, okay, Bill O'Brien is the elixir for what Mac Jones needs, and now he's as bad as he was. They got to start thinking about a new quarterback because the draft's going to be deep. But, man, can you imagine what it's going to be like if Kraft fires him or Belichick leaves? There's been a general thought around the NFL that Belichick might move into a cushy front office, but I wouldn't want to be in his shadow if I'm the next coach. But that's going to be something we're going to have to watch play out. Fortunately for the Patriots, Aaron Rodgers went down for the year, so they shouldn't finish in last place. But if they do, with the Jets having Zach Wilson at quarterback, it won't surprise me at all if Belichick's gone.
Obviously, if I'm Kraft, there's one coach in the NFL that I know pretty well, and that's Mr. Mike Vrabel. Is Gruden in the 01-02 season the last time a coach was traded for draft choices? Because if I'm the Patriots, I go after Vrabel.
Gruden cost them 2 1s and 2 2s, and they thought it was worth it because they won their first Super Bowl. And I'm sure if Kraft wanted a head coach, he would Vrabel somebody he would look at. And if Mike's under contract at the worst, Mike could probably get an extension, a lot of money out of it. But a lot of people think that Gerard Mayo, their inside linebackers coach who played there and is coached there, and has turned down a couple offers to go to others, is being groomed to be the next head coach. I don't know if that's true or not, because if you could have a proven Mike Vrabel over an unproven Gerard Mayo, anybody in the right mind would say, of course you'd rather have Mike Vrabel.
John McClain is with us. So the game of the weekend and maybe of the season so far, Cowboys, 49ers, Sunday Night Football, 49ers undefeated. And I pretty much put them as, and maybe the Eagles are there too, but they had a scare against Washington, as a team that is as advertised. Dallas destroys the Patriots, but they got beat the week before because of Dak's inconsistency. What do you think about this matchup between the Cowboys and the 49ers?
49ers have a streak of scoring at least 30 points going back to last season. Brock Purdy's never lost a regular season game. But he hasn't been in a position where they're down, say, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and he has to bring them from behind, because they're just so balanced. They got so many playmakers on both sides of the ball. Cowboys' running game has been good with Tony Pollard. They got injuries in their offensive line. Defensive line's playing great. And I fully expect the 49ers to win. You know, they may play again in the playoffs. They played in the NFC Championship game, I think, 6 times. And I think the 49ers will win this game. But it's a game where Dak Prescott has got to play not just well, he's got to be great. So far, he hadn't been great.
Yeah, he hasn't at all. John McClain is with us from Houston.
John, we're talking with the both teams are unbeaten going into the game Sunday night. Do you think we'll ever see another team in the NFL go unbeaten? I mean, I know now it's at 17 games. I know the Patriots did it at 16 and the Dolphins at 14. But do you think we'll even see a team get to 14-0 again? It's just so hard to stay unbeaten.
It is, Joe, especially with teams having so much information from analytics about every single player, strategy. Everything you can want is right at your fingertips about a team, tendencies, coaches, and, of course, injuries tell the tale. I don't see any team being able to play a full season health-wise and go unbeaten or even 14-0. It's just the game is too physical. They have rules now on concussions where you've got to go out. Usually if you go out, you're out the next week. Quarterbacks still get hurt even though the rules are designed to protect them. I don't think we'll see a team like the Patriots when the only game they lost was the Super Bowl to the Giants.
We talked about Aaron Rodgers earlier, and he tears the Achilles opening week, and he's out for the year. But he's telling Pat McAfee and telling other people that he's ahead of schedule in rehab, and that his goal is to be back this season, which would be completely unprecedented in my mind if he's able to do so. But if you're the Jets, is that a risk that you're willing to take?
Well, first of all, why would they bring him back unless they were in the playoffs? And if they're in the playoffs with Zach Wilson, why would you take Zach Wilson out if he played well enough to get you in the playoffs? So, no, I do not expect him to come back. Maybe he'll take some immunizations like he had during the pandemic, and that'll help him.
Oh, yes. John, continue on. Watching the game tonight with the Giants, I mean, how does a team just look so not there? They signed Daniel Jones. Brian Daboll throws the iPad at his feet and like that. You've covered teams like that, beginning of the season where it all goes wrong. Can they correct this ship? Because it looks like it's going straight down now.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to be watching the Giants because I don't want to fall asleep early. I've got to watch baseball because people here are really fired up about baseball, the way the Astros won the division on the last day and got home field advantage. But, I mean, the Giants, they got another national appearance coming up, I think, next week. And I understand it's New York, but right now, 2 New York teams with hopes so high with Aaron Rodgers and with Daniel Jones. Is there any player right now not living up to his contract more than Daniel Jones other than Joe Burrow? But Burrow's got an excuse because of his calf injury. But they're out of sync. Their offense is terrible. Last year, every single thing went right for the Giants, and they won a playoff game. But right now, they're terrible. They're not Bears terrible yet. Chicago's the worst team, but they're close to it. And, of course, they're getting hammered. And not having a baseball team in the playoffs means the media in New York and New Jersey is solely focused on the NFL, and the Jets got an excuse for losing. The Giants do not. They're going to earn most of the wrath.
Well, let me ask you this, college football-wise, how much is Texas being the talk of, I know you're down in Houston, I know A&M's close there, but how much does Texas football get talked about down in Houston?
Unfortunately, way too much, but they've earned it. The Longhorns have played really well. They haven't won the conference since 2009, even though perennially they have the best talent. You know, they used to call Mac Brown Coach March, because that's when they're recruiting. And now Steve Sarkisian's got a lot of NFL talent, starting with his quarterback, Quinn Ewers, who in most mock drafts is one of the lower first-round picks in a great quarterback draft. And they play Oklahoma. Oklahoma was a huge disappointment last season, as were the Longhorns. But this is the first time in a long time they've both been unbeaten and ranked where they are. And I hate to say it, but I got to give the Longhorns props for doing a really good job this season. And because they're from Texas, I hope they beat the Sooners in the annual Red River rivalry, and then they're your problem.
Yeah, you're right. That is true. John, appreciate it as always, and we'll check out your work, sportsradio610.com.
Chase and Joe, thank you guys very much as always, and good luck to the Titans against the Colts.
Absolutely. We'll talk next week. John McClain joining us from Houston as he does every Wednesday at 9:30.
Just wind him up, man.
Let him go. Great stories for sure. We'll get into some college football coming up next because JoJo's got to work a big game tonight.
I do.
In Murfreesboro. We'll talk about that and much more. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. If you have some things around your home that you've been putting off fixing, like your regular HVAC maintenance or a clogged bathroom drain, Hiller has some big discounts this month. When the temperature drops and you start using your heater for the first time, you do not want to be dealing with breakdown issues, and this month, Hiller is offering half off HVAC tune-up. And Hiller is bringing back their $99 drain cleaning special. These deals only last this month, so be sure to call today. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Preds of Falls and Vandy. Hiller, call the Happy Face Truck today.
DraftKings Sports and Social is bringing you the ultimate fan experience this football season with a 48-foot media wall, 22 TVs, mouth-watering game day eats, and cold beer. DraftKings Sports and Social, opening October 5th at Nashville Live on 2nd Avenue.
All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Frazier with your Game Center update. Yesterday on the Chase and Big Joe show, Outkick's Chad Withrow joined the show and shared his thoughts about the Tennessee Volunteers and to see if this team can win on the road.
I want to see them go on the road and look like that team again. Cooper Mays back is going to help. That was a huge loss in the Florida game. A big part of Tennessee's offense is the center. I think he's the second most important part of the offense behind Joe Milton at quarterback. So getting him back is going to help on the road. But Tennessee needs to continue to take care of business at home and find some of that same magic and get some of that rhythm going offensively on the road at some point this season if they truly want to get full respect back.
Tune in tonight to 93.3 Classic Hits as the MTSU Blue Raiders take on the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. with kickoff to follow. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 1025 and 1063.
79-52 Vanderbilt. I think he's going to coach up by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Let me talk to you. Talking what's important to Nashville.
Sweet mother of God, what is the holdup?
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show.
Well, Lottie frickin' da!
With Chase McCabe and Big Joe Dubin.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
We're here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hope you're having a great start to your Wednesday. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin, Nick Frazier, a.k.a. Dr. Crane, on the ones and twos. We'll have celebrity birthdays at the end of the hour, as we always do. Willie filled in yesterday.
Oh, did he? How did he do?
He kicked my butt again.
That figures.
I don't know how he does it, Joe. He had 3 of them on the money.
Well, you got to figure for Willie and I in our generation, man. There was not a lot that was going on like you guys have now with all the different channels and social media outlet. We were just, we had ESPN and we followed our teams and we kind of gathered information, and it was just simple 1 or 2 kind of avenues that we went down and stayed home. And
what, you research on the paper of like what people are like, how old they are? I mean,
you paid more attention. You watched TV back then. You read the paper constantly. I mean, that was the things.
I guess
that was a thing. You read a lot.
You did. Let me ask you this before we go for a little further on. See the attendance yesterday, the Tampa Bay baseball game?
I didn't.
It was the lowest attendance for a playoff game since 1919. They drew 19,000 people for a baseball game playoffs. And it was Game 7 of the 1919 World Series, drew 13,000 at Redland Field in Cincinnati. The Reds won the best of 9 series against the Chicago White Sox. That was the Black Sox era. Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis banned 8 players in the Black Sox for throwing games. Anyway, but then they went and just approved this huge stadium, not huge, but a better stadium down there. Why? It's obvious nobody cares.
I don't know if it's...
No. These baseball fans, we love baseball regardless of where it is. We'll go watch it at McGavick High School. We love
have you
baseball.
ever been to a baseball game at the Trop?
I have not.
Okay, I have. It's not awful.
First of all, you call it the Trop, so just stop that.
Well, okay. People that say that it's a crap hole or whatever, I wouldn't go that far.
Right.
But it's definitely not a baseball experience.
But are you going for the experience for the game? Or is it now part of everything?
I mean, look, it's both. You were just talking about, you were comparing generations. It's both.
Okay.
Like back in your day, you would go for a game and you'd sit on wooden bleachers and
not a fan of the tone right now.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
but I mean, you would go no matter what because you're going to watch the game.
Right.
Now there has to be more than just the game going on. Like that is a part of it. And I will there's an organization here in town that I think had one of the most brilliant ideas ever because they embraced that. And that was the Sounds. And they opened up the bandbox in right field. And they know that people out in the bandbox couldn't tell you one thing going on with the game.
Right.
But guess what they're doing?
Spending money.
They're spending money in their stadium.
Right.
And so it's an experience. The Predators have it, throughout Bridgestone Arena. The Titans are going to have it in their new stadium. I mean, there's so many different places that you can go. I mean, Barrel House, where we do our pre- and post-game show, is basically a sports bar. that, people are in there throughout the game. So it's more than just going to that game. And so, like with the Tropicana Field, sorry.
That's all right.
That's basically there's nothing going, there's just nothing to do.
Well, Tampa Bay announced plans last month to build a 30,000-seat ballpark to replace Tropicana Field. They played there since 1998. All right. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors involved, and I get it. But, man, it's almost nobody at the game. 3 teams had worse attendance than the Rays. Can you name them?
No.
The Royals, the Marlins, and the Athletics.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, me neither. But the Royals, I mean, that's a sports town, but nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, you've been to Arrowhead, right?
Yep.
So I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Not really. It's about 20 minutes out of Kansas City.
Yeah, but I mean,
what are you traveling by rickshaw? What's going on here, man? What's the deal here? Are you walking from downtown? Then yes, I get it.
What is a rickshaw?
That's an old wagon. Back in the day. Is that how you get into your games? Come on, man. No, I just thought that.
It hurts to laugh.
It does. Now, we got football tonight down the Burrow, Chase.
Yeah, Jacksonville State, and we're supposed to talk to Rick Stockstill at 10:30. A little miscommunication on yesterday, but we'll talk to him.
He's busy getting ready.
Yeah, I know, for sure. But, last week, mistakes got them in a hole early and then just couldn't get anything going offensively. Got to change that for tonight. I mean, this is a big one. Got to get, in my opinion, you got to walk out of Floyd Stadium with a dub.
Yeah, it's another conference game tonight at 7 o'clock here on Classic Hits. Coverage starting at 6 o'clock. But it's Jacksonville State. That's a good football team led by Rich Rodriguez as their head coach. They come to town, and Middle's had their chances in all these games. That's the frustrating part. I mean, it was 23-10. They had the ball first and goal inside the 10. They couldn't score any points, and then had a turnover later on, and Western converts on that. So it's not like they've been just awful. They just had these bad mistakes at certain times. And so you got to come out tonight. You can erase the Western taste, and you can beat another Conference USA team and feel good about yourself because this is a good Jacksonville State football team. I hear they're bringing a lot of people up, 65 to come to this game tonight. It's a blackout game, so it should be a nice crowd and a beautiful night for football.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Tennessee is the 22nd ranked team in the country according to the Associated Press right now. Just had a nice win against South Carolina.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
It was one that they needed to have, and they got revenge there in Knoxville.
Right.
and won by 3 touchdowns. But Missouri at 5-0 is ranked ahead of Tennessee. Kentucky at 5-0 is ranked ahead of Tennessee. Because I think the voters, and rightfully so, are factoring in how awful that loss to Florida truly was. Because Florida's terrible.
They are terrible.
They just got shellacked by Kentucky. Tennessee's off this week. What, in your mind, do they need to do to earn some of the respect back that they lost by losing to Florida?
Win the next 2 games. A&M comes
A&M at home and Alabama on the road.
Alabama. Yeah, you win those next 2, you're back. I mean, you are back. And I think it's been, I was an AP voter twice, and you look at the factors that go in there, and you look at unbeatens like Kentucky deserves to be there. Missouri, I mean, they're 5-0. They beat a good Kansas State team, and they beat Memphis. And Memphis is not a bad football team, but are they as good? I think Tennessee's far better than Missouri. But you go to lose to Florida like that, and the way you lost to Florida, and you see how bad Florida is, yeah, it'll affect you. But if you beat A&M next week in Knoxville and you beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa in 2 weeks, you're a top 12 team. I mean, you're back up there and get the Florida Guys because you've knocked off 2 very good football teams right there. And it'll be difficult. And then Kentucky comes after that.
Yeah, and that's not going to be easy either. I mean, I think Kentucky might be something.
Ray Davis, a heck of a running back.
Ray Davis.
Was he this good at Vandy? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, he had 1,000 yards last year.
Okay. Maybe I should have paid attention.
Yeah, but I mean, I think this is his 3rd school, so something up. But
I went to 3 schools. It doesn't matter.
You know what? So did I, actually.
It happens.
Kind of a good point.
Difference is nobody wanted me. Although,
I want you.
Ray Davis, these teams. But Kentucky's got a big one this weekend. I mean, Kentucky has to go to at Georgia. So we'll know more about this Kentucky football team.
Georgia beatable?
No. Every team's beatable, but that was a tough environment against Auburn on Saturday.
Oh, it was a great college football environment.
Absolutely it was. And so Georgia needed to be tested that way. But, Kentucky's next 3 games are at Georgia, home against Missouri, and home against Tennessee. So they go down there and, what if they lose 28-21 to Georgia? Then we have more questions about Georgia, and we're like, well, Kentucky's not that bad, but what about Georgia? And you go on and on. Here's the best part about all this. It always plays itself out.
Sure.
No matter what happens.
Well, like Missouri, like they're going to play themselves out. But here's what I'm hoping happens. I'm hoping Tennessee does run the table until they get to Georgia, and then that game is basically for the SEC East.
It is.
You know, and I think if there is one on the schedule that Georgia falters in, it'll be that one, because on the road at Knoxville.
Missouri hosts LSU this week. It's an 11 o'clock start on
LSU is
ESPN.
going to be pissed off, and I think they're going to beat Missouri pretty good.
Man, LSU had a lot of promise coming this year, and that defense is.
I know, but I mean, like, I think they squandered an opportunity to beat Ole Miss, and they let Ole Miss stay in it, and ultimately lost the game. And so, I think that's going to be. They're going to be a little PO'd for greatness this week.
They might drop 42. I mean, it's going to be that type of game.
Well, who says Missouri's not a good football team and going to beat LSU? I mean, it's Missouri's playing with fire.
I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced on Missouri yet. Okay. I mean, Middle should have beaten Missouri.
Could have.
I know, but I think they should have.
Until a ref throws a flag on a play that wasn't pass interference, but that's okay.
You know, that happens.
All too often it happens that way. I don't know, but it just, you know, if LSU loses to Missouri, I mean, LSU fans aren't going to stand for this Brian Kelly nonsense. I mean, Jimbo, at least right now, is cooled off a tad bit with the win over Arkansas, but, you know, you lose to Alabama on Saturday, and then you go to Knoxville and lose to the Vols.
Right.
I mean, I know he's getting paid a lot of money, and I get all that, but I still can't stand him.
Justin in Greenbrier has asked a question on the text line that's going to take us down a rabbit hole.
Oh, no.
Coming up next. But I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna ask the people, because it's certainly an interesting one.
Sure.
We'll do that next. Chase and Big Joe.
No, you gotta give it to us and let us. Never mind. I'll wait.
It's
Okay.
a tease.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to kind of.
Do you want to think about it
during the break? Yeah.
Okay, Justin. I know we probably don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but does it worry you guys that Kentucky is now better since Levis is gone?
Okay.
Interesting, to say the least. Chase and Big Joe, hey, DraftKings Sports and Social, the most epic sports watching experience in town, is opening downtown on 2nd Avenue tomorrow. Stillman & Company will be broadcasting live on location from 2 to 6. DraftKings Sports and Social features a massive state-of-the-art 33-foot LED screen, their world-famous menu, and signature curated cocktails. That's tomorrow, the grand opening of the DraftKings Sports and Social downtown on 2nd Avenue.
He knows Nashville sports.
I looked on defense a year ago.
He is Outkick's Chad Withrow.
We really don't care. You're here. You signed a grant of rights.
Withrow joins Stillman & Company every Friday at 5. Brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I know they were doing that for him to be the third-string quarterback in year one.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey everybody, this is Nick Frazier here to tell you about my favorite sportbook and casino, and that's BetUS.com. Football is back, and that means it's time to lay down your bets. I only endorse one sportbook and casino, and that's BetUS.com. They're celebrating their 30th year of sports betting service with a special offer, up to 30 risk-free bets. That's right, up to 30 risk-free bets. It's called Bet Protect. BetUS.com also offers a 125% sign-up bonus, a massive 200% crypto sign-up bonus, and a 250% casino bonus. The game always gets more exciting with the bet, but you can take it to a whole nother level at BetUS.com's live in-game betting. Take advantage of their 30th year offer, up to 30 risk-free bets. Get Bet Protect. Get started today by visiting BetUS.com or at 1-800-MyBetUS to learn more. That's 1-800-MyBetUS. BetUS.com Sportbook and Casino, where the game begins.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition, addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
We pride ourselves on being transparent, opening up the books, and sharing all the secrets of the diamond industry. We have a passion for this, and part of having a passion is sharing that passion.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper says, at Genesis, you don't just get an entry-level course in diamonds, you get a PhD.
We love educating our customers, even over-educating our customers about diamonds and gemstones, so they can truly see the difference in what we offer.
At Genesis, diamonds are not a side business. It's their only business.
We eat, breathe, and sleep diamonds.
So whether you end up buying at Genesis or not, come for the education.
The better educated we can make you at Genesis Diamonds, the better a shopper you're going to be, whether you shop with us or anyone else. You will be able to tell the difference and know what you are buying, so you make the best decision for you.
Genesis Diamonds, proud to offer one of the largest selections of GIA certified diamonds in the nation, with no middleman markups, no retail pricing games, no commission salespeople, and no nonsense. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Do reward. Just desserts. Special day. Payoff. Just because. Whatever your reasons, it's time to visit the spa.
Mokara Spa at the Omni Nashville Hotel, now offering outdoor yoga 9 a.m. every Saturday through September 2nd on the Spa Terrace. Book any treatment and get complimentary valet parking and access to the rooftop pool with incredible views of the Music City skyline. Mokara Spa at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Inner Zen, outer beauty.
Hey home buyers, TJ Anderson here with More Great Homes. Located just west of Nashville in a tranquil setting of Kingston Springs Ranchettes neighborhood, 1617 Wildlife Trail offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a 2-car garage, and a 1-year builder warranty, all for under $450,000. Contact my team today at tjandersonhomes.com for more info. Want your home listing to be seen and heard by home buyers? Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why we are referred by clients so often. TJ Anderson Homes at Benchmark Realty, office number 615-432-2919.
Vanderbilt football lives here.
This Saturday, it's Vanderbilt and Florida from Gainesville. Kickoff at 3 p.m. Coverage starts at 1:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show.
I could pull a better cartoon out of my ass. Hey, whoa! Wasn't that great, kids?
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, sign up for Silly Underdog Picks. Make your picks today for a chance to win weekly prizes. You can play at thegamenashville.com or on the 102.5 The Game app as we approach Week 6 of college football and Week 5 of the NFL. Silly Underdog Picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gaskets. Looking forward to that tomorrow at noon on Caroline, Willie, and D-May. So a texter, Justin in Greenbrier on the text line, says, I know we probably don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but does it worry you guys that Kentucky is now better since Levis is gone? I don't think it has anything to do with Will Levis. I think it has a lot to do with Liam Cohen coming back as the offensive coordinator.
Totally agree with that. And plus, I don't compare seasons to seasons because, Will Levis didn't have Ray Davis, and now he's up there. So, plus the competition changes in difference. That's a great question, but it ends quickly with the answer.
Philip and Franklin goes on to say the offensive line is much better in Lexington, and Leary is healthy. Levis got hurt in Game 2 last year with a horrible offensive line. Leary is not throwing it at any better at this point than Levis did last year. 2 years ago, when healthy and with a much better line, Levis was pretty darn good. And Liam Cohen was there as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that doesn't take for the fact that Will Levis has talent, and we'll see how it plays out here in Nashville. But, again, I don't compare seasons to seasons. A lot changes in a season.
Sure.
1998,
a lot changes week to week.
In 1998, the St. Louis Rams were 4-12, and we're an awful football team. We're an absolutely awful football team. What did they do the next year?
Won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, I mean, things change in a season.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why.
And welcome to my TED Talk.
Thanks. I thought your name was Joe.
Nah, whatever.
But I think that's why Mike Vrabel is so quick to, well, hey, you got a big win over Cincinnati. You know, that helps you build momentum. And he's like, that was last week. You know, it's what do we do this week?
Yeah, that's what true. All coaches did, and you go for it and look to what's happening next. That's why you look at what C.J. Stroud's done the last 2 weeks, and then you know why Vrabel wanted him.
Yeah.
You could see why.
Well, look, and I've always said I don't think it's necessarily momentum that carries over week to week. It's confidence, and especially with a young player,
right?
C.J. Stroud, you know, being a perfect example. You know, if you go out and you ball out in 1 week and that builds your confidence, you can carry that confidence into the next week. It affects you in practice. It affects you in how you prepare, because we all love that feeling of winning. We all love that feeling of doing well, and so. You know, that's something that you want to hold on to. And so that's where I think, you know, it carries over. But, you know, momentum, especially in the NFL. Now, in a sport like baseball and or basketball or hockey where you're playing, you know, every night or every other night, then maybe there's something to that. But I even remember this coming up with the Predators a few years ago, and Peter Laviolette completely shut that down. Of like, no, I don't think it's game to game. I mean, I think it's within the game. You can carry momentum.
I could see that, and that's the thing. You don't want to, but that's, you know, you get what we saw from the Titans in Cleveland was not what we saw on the field Sunday versus the Bengals. It's just it's a complete 180 in all facets of the game, and that's what you got to kind of figure out, where we're going to maintain the success and some momentum, and how we're going to do that. And I think if one coach had the blueprint for that, they all would, but nobody knows.
Well, and that's why I want to see the Titans, you know, going back to them, I mean, they need to go win a road game, because right now, like, watching what I've seen the last 2 home games, I like, but then what I've seen in the last 2 road games scare me. So it's like, is this a home team and that's it? You know, they need to go into Lucas Oil, like, even if they lose the game, just go play a good game. You know, like that. No. I need to see. I need to see consistency. I want to win the game, right? But what I'm saying is, like, they lost by 1 point in week 1. They played awful. The quarterback played awful.
Yeah, but
they got dominated in week 3 because they played awful.
They're 2 points away from being 3-1. That's what's crazy about this.
Right, you're right.
But
I understand that.
We could play that game all day long. They lost the ball game down in New Orleans because Tannehill was awful.
Right,
it was absolutely awful. So. You go out. This is a game I think they can win. They should win on Sunday, and then now you're 3-2, and you're feeling good about yourself if you head across the pond, and you take on a good Baltimore team. Then you got a bye week. Then you come back, and then you go. I mean, you roll with the second half of the season there. But this game is so huge on Sunday, because what happens? You got to go on the road to London next week.
Yeah, I mean, and that's considered a home game that you're giving up, but it's not.
And I like what John McClain said about, you know, the travel and everything. Look. I've been on that Titans charter before.
Yeah.
I understand why when guys leave football, they have kind of a tough time, because you're on a charter. You go right through security. I mean, you get security. You go right to the plane, and you're on, and you're there's no wait. It's not like you're waiting on this. Yeah, it's not like Derek Henry's trying to get his A boarding pass over Tannehill, and they check in 24 hours before, and they got to sit with somebody they don't know.
Damn it, I got to see.
And it's like, oh, man, I'm going way in the back of the plane. I mean, the travel is different. And it's funny, you brought up those baseball players on trains back in the day. And some of that stuff those stories are absolutely hilarious. But I don't think travel is a factor. I mean, yeah, both teams got to travel. The Ravens will have to. But, again, focus on this Sunday, get the win against the Colts, and then deal with what happens next.
Yeah. Well, and the thing for me is I want to see the offense put it together 2 games in a row, because Tim Kelly called his best game as an offensive coordinator here. Tannehill executed that. I mean, Tannehill statistically had his best week. Obviously, Derrick Henry was the focal point with 122 rushing yards and the touchdown pass.
Yeah.
But put it together 2 weeks in a row. Show me that. Against a team that you should be able to do that. Now, you know, I think that you got some threats on defense there in Indianapolis that you're going to have to watch out for. But let's see this offense start to click. You're going to have Kyle Phillips back, it looks like. What can he do? Can he be a red zone threat for you?
No. What's he done? Had one good
game. He
game,
hasn't done
right?
anything. I mean, look, You don't have to convince
How
me.
many of these guys that we talk about each week don't do anything? I mean, I'm going back to the Jeff Fisher days.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll tell you who I need to see something from is 16, Traylon Burks. I mean, if he's back, well,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, but if he's back, like, catch the ball, man. And
you really think he's going to be a major player in this league?
I don't, and I'm glad you said it because that's where I was about to go. I don't know if he's going to be. He's not going to be A.J. Brown. I'm just going to say it right now.
Okay.
You want me to give an opinion? Here's an opinion. He's not going to be A.J. Brown.
God, you're animated.
He's not going to be as good as A.J. Brown. Could he be Corey Davis?
Ouch.
but okay, but here's
Wasn't
the thing.
Corey Davis good because of A.J. Brown?
Sure, but Corey Davis wasn't the 5th overall pick. He didn't live up to that, but he was a serviceable, good wide receiver that was a couple of drops away from 1,000 yards. And he was a very good complementary receiver to A.J. Brown. So, I mean, you need a number 2. He can be a number 2. But this whole we talked about it the moment he was drafted, it was like, well, it sucks for him because they just traded A.J. Brown.
Right.
And then drafted him. And look, I think they still could have drafted Traylon Burks and kept A.J. Brown. Because with where they were in the draft that night, he probably would have fell to him with that original pick.
Okay.
But
we'll never know now.
We'll never know.
Well,
But
what's wrong with Chris Moore? I mean, every time he comes in,
Chris Moore needs to play more.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, he needs
Chris Moore play more.
Yeah, play more. He needs more. He needs more opportunity because he's shown he's going to make big plays.
Right.
And he's done it 3 games in a row now.
He has done it. So why they should? I mean, they see these guys every day. They know. I mean, he should be playing more in the offense, getting more throws down the field. I mean, it's just. I mean, they got receivers. They just don't. We don't know a lot about these guys, but what I've seen from Chris Moore, he's been fantastic.
Allie in Bellevue asked, could Burks be NWI at least? Well, I hope he's better than NWI. I mean, look, NWI's played well the last couple of weeks.
NWI is always open. Am I missing something? I mean, I don't watch every play of every game, but I mean, as far as I know, he's always he's open.
But okay, think about this. To the days of the early days of the Titans. Okay, Kevin Dyson was the one, right? That's the guy we identified in '99, and then until he got hurt in 2000, he was the number 1 wide receiver. I think it was supposed to be Yancey Thigpen, but he couldn't stay on the field.
Right.
So Kevin Dyson became that guy. Chris Sanders was you need a big play, you need a deep ball. Chris was speedy. That's your guy. He's going to
stretch
get that
the
for you.
defense.
He's going to stretch the defense, but Chris was not a 1,000-yard receiver, but you need him to make a play, he'll go make a play.
Right.
And then you had Isaac Byrd on that team that, he was kind of your NWI. And then Derek started the next year. Derek kind of started to emerge, as that guy. I mean, everybody's got to have their role. You can't have 4 receivers that are, 1,000-yard guys. It doesn't work that way. This year, I think that D-Hop has shown he's the number 1 right now. DeAndre Hopkins is the number 1. What is Traylon Burks? He's got to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, they've put a lot into him. I just don't think he'll ever be, at least what I've seen in the year. I mean, when you know, right?
Yeah, he's not going to be yeah, that's right, Ricky. You know when you know.
Nothing has seemed like, man, this guy. I mean,
no, he's not.
Here
To me,
but
he is not a number 1, puts fear in the heart of the defense wide receiver. Not today. And he's got to do a lot to convince me that he can be.
I agree. I agree with you. And so we'll have to see what happens. He's got to stay on the field. That's the thing. Vrabel's always said, stay on the field. Find a way to stay on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you can do. Me. That's what you do.
Coming up next, we'll talk to Rick Stockstill.
We will talk to the head coach.
We'll get his thoughts on tonight's game against Jacksonville State. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day 1 of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville invites you to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month by donating to Breast Cancer in Action. BRA's mission is to empower breast cancer survivors physically and emotionally by creating inclusive communities where all can grow in strength, resilience, and joy. Find it in your heart to donate by going to info@bragroups.org. Pella Windows and Doors would also like to thank their sponsors of their Putt for Pink customer appreciation event: Binks Lodge, the Nashville Predators, Apio Media, Little House Animal Hospital, Mid-10 Ford, and 102.5 The Game.
Oh, Charlie's, that's where you find me. That southern flavor got me saying, hey, y'all. Yum, yum, got some fun. Share with the ones you love. Don't you want to roll?
At O'Charlie's, we thought you'd enjoy a little country rock and rolls. The warm, buttery, delicious kind. Served free with every meal. O'Charlie's. Oh, that's good.
Yum, yum, got some fun. Charlie's, born in Nashville, and it shows.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Fall is the time for family, friends, and unforgettable moments. Lee Company wants you to savor every second. While you enjoy this time with your family, our professional technicians can handle everything else, from gutter cleaning to pressure washing to painting to new gas log installations. We've been serving homeowners in this area for almost 80 years. Visit LeeCompany.com to learn more. That's LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need.
Nashville's Best Deals is a great place to save cash fast. Get up to half off or more on dining and entertainment at thegamenashville.com/deals. Check back often for new featured deals and save money now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Hey, if you missed our show, you can get it on demand. Just search for the Chase and Big Joe Show podcast on Apple, Spotify, or any podcast platform.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. MTSU in action tonight against Jacksonville State. And, of course, you can hear it starting at 6 on 93.3 Classic Hits with Chip Walters and our own Big Joe Dubin. We say hello now to Coach Rick Stockstill. He is on the line with us. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning. You guys, how's everybody doing?
We're doing fantastic. Appreciate you doing this on a game day. I know getting used to this schedule. We talked about that a few weeks ago, but how did this week go for your team? Obviously not the result that you wanted last week in Bowling Green, but I feel like as a coach you had some moments that you could teach this week based on some of the mistakes made in the first half and then some of the execution in the second half. So how did that apply to practice this week?
No, guys got a great attitude. They show up every day ready to work, and, you just got to own and recognize and be honest, and how you communicate with each other on, we did this good, we got to get better at this. And, we only had 4 practices, and but the guys did a great job. They're ready to go tonight, so I'm fired up about tonight.
I know that, week to week it's obviously different. They're going to throw different defenses at you, but what are some things that you've seen over the course of the first few games of the season from your offense that you've been able to tweak some that you can apply starting tonight?
I think the big thing that stands out is, one, obviously we've got to find ways to score more points than what we're scoring. And if we can find a way to create more explosive plays than what we have, the last couple games, that'll play a factor in helping us score more points. And, you look at the Western Kentucky game, the first drive of the third quarter, we go 15 plays, whatever it was, 75 yards. And the next possession, we go 14 plays, and, we get stopped on the 4 or 5 yard line, whatever it was. That's 29 plays, and that's hard to do, without – that means you're not creating a lot of explosive plays, when you have 15 and 14 play drives. So we've got to – I think that's an area where we can improve on offensively.
We're talking to MTSU head football coach Rick Stockstill. And, Coach, it's not for a lack of effort. I mean, your guys are playing hard, but it's the mistakes. How do you get that fine line of, all right, I need you to keep playing hard, but let's be smart about how we do this? That's not easy to navigate, is it?
No, I mean, because, effort penalties are going to happen. You're going to get called for, pass interference. You're going to get called for, holding. Those they call those penalties every play of the game. It's the pre and post snap penalties that you gotta that either extend drives if it happens on defense, and slows down a drive if it happens on offense. So we were better Saturday or Thursday against Western Kentucky. We had a couple unfortunate ones. To me, the fumble there right before the half, that that hurt us obviously, because you're going to go in whatever it was 17-3, and now it's 23-3, and with 30 seconds left in the half, and then we had the holding penalty on the second or third play of the game that brought the touchdown back. That that didn't determine the outcome of the game. It did, take a little bit of the air out of you a little bit, but that had no bearing on winning and losing the game.
I'll tell you, it deflated me up in the radio booth, but we had to move on from that. Curious question here. Do you go back and watch the TV broadcast of your game or the upcoming opponents? I know Jacksonville State was on TV last week playing Sam Houston State. Do you watch the TV copy, or you just watch the game copy you get? Which one? Or both?
Both. Yeah, I do both. I try to watch the game copy because sometimes you can see things, personnel grouping signals and that kind of stuff. There's things you can catch on a TV copy that you can't catch on a regular game film copy.
Do you ever watch your game and think the announcer's like, what in the world are they talking? Because sometimes they make things up and they think they know too much.
Put your audio on.
No, don't do that. And watch, like, these guys are just insane. They know what they're talking about. Do you do that?
No, I don't do that. I'll watch our game on TV, kind of the same reason I watch the opponent, just to see if we're doing anything from a signaling standpoint, that the opposing team can catch. So I'll do that, but I don't listen to it. And, a lot of times watching a game, whoever, that you're not even playing, you won't play this team, or you just want to watch the game. Sometimes you turn the volume down and just, you watch the game, and so I do a little bit of both.
So now you got me curious. So on average, in the course of a week, Coach, how many times do you watch your game or the opponent's game when you're going through the, whether it's the different views, whether it's the TV broadcast or the coach's film?
Obviously our opponent's film a lot more. I'll watch our game, probably offense, defense, special teams. I'll probably watch it 3 times. And then if it's a TV copy, I'll just watch it one time. And then same thing, your opponent, you watch however many TV copies you have, whether it's 1 or 2, you'll just watch each game one time. And then you're watching the game film a ton all week, whether it's actual game or the cut-ups that you have down and distance, red zone, blitzes, pressures, all that kind of stuff. So basically it's all you're doing all day and night is watching film.
We're talking to the head football coach at MTSU, Rick Stocks. All right, Jacksonville State rolls into town tonight. I've watched some of their games. That's a very good football team, Coach. What's your most concerned thing about when you get ready to take on Jacksonville State?
Well, Joe, obviously they're going to run the ball. They want to run the ball, and we've got to be really good on first down. And if we can get them in third and longer situations and kind of force them to pass, make them a little bit more one-dimensional, I think that plays in our favor. But they're really good. It's a read option offense, zone read, all that. So do a really good job with that. And then defensively, they're the number one defense in the conference. So it's a really good defense. They're fast. They play hard. They haven't given up a lot of big plays, defensively. So it's like you said, Joe, it's a good team coming in here.
And what layer of difficulty does it add that they've used 2 quarterbacks this year?
I don't think it is, because, again, their offense hasn't changed. It's who's ever in there, they're running the same offense. It's not one's a little bit more athletic than the other, but they're both, they're still going to do the same thing. So it's not you're not preparing for this offense when this quarterback comes in and this offense when this quarterback's in.
Well, Coach, good luck tonight. We appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Coach Rick Stockstill joining us, MTSU head football coach, joins us every Wednesday at 10:30. And, again, they take on Jacksonville State tonight at Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro. Coverage beginning at 6 o'clock on 93.3 Classic Hits with Chip Walters and Big Joe Dubin.
It's a blackout. You coming down tonight?
It's a yeah.
Attaboy,
blackout
Chaser.
Game.
Yeah,
I love the look. I remember when I think it was the first time they did those, and they were nice. Like, I love that look.
Chase, you're a proud alumnus of Middle Tennessee State University.
Sure am.
Yep. Sam. So am I.
Stock and I got there at the same time.
Did you really? 06?
Yeah. That was our.
We should have asked him. Like, you remember a young whippersnapper by the name of Chase McCabe? And I do not.
No, sir. But I tell you what, he was awesome because my last year there, I had done an interview with him. Mark Owens had set it up, and this is the first head football coach that I had ever interviewed. And I go and I do the interview and take all my stuff home. Well, while I was in class one day, somebody broke into my condo and stole the video camera with the tape in it. And so I was obviously devastated.
That's all they took? Uh-oh.
No, they took a lot of
Dog
stuff.
eat your homework too?
No. Took my Xbox, took a laptop.
What?
Yeah, oh yeah. While I was at class.
So you walk in your condo and it's like, I'm gonna have a good day today, and everything's gone.
I walk in my
oh man.
And here's the weird part. Throughout class, I had a weird feeling. I just had a weird feeling the whole time that something was off. And I pull up, and it's like it gets weirder, and I walk in, and my dog didn't meet me at the front door. And that's when I knew, okay, something's going on.
Wait, tell me the dog was okay.
He's fine. He was fine. He was just scared.
I don't care about anything else.
No,
the dog was all right.
He was scared. And that's why he didn't meet me at the front door, because he didn't know it was me. He was like, okay, somebody else here. And I would walk in through my front door, and I'd turn into my living room. And when I turned into my living room, my video games were like all over the floor.
Wow.
And I noticed one of my guitars wasn't on the guitar stand. And I was like, well, that's weird. And then I saw the back door wide open, and I was like, oh, no.
Did they break anything or just come through? Or did we leave the door unlocked?
No, they kicked it open.
Okay.
They kicked the door open. And I think I got there as they were still there, because the guitar that was missing was sitting by the door.
Still in the condo?
Yeah.
Or in the parking lot?
They didn't steal it. No, they didn't steal a guitar, but they were about. They had stuff lined up by the door that they were trying to take out.
Whoa, man!
Yeah.
Did you ever find out who did this?
I did actually.
Somebody you knew?
No, it was not.
How did you find out?
Because there was kind of a string of things.
Did you get your things back?
No. No. And like, honestly, there was one thing I cared about. It was my grandfather's ring, and I never found it. I went to pawn shops and everything. I could never find it. But everything else, insurance covered.
What would you have done had you walked in and the robbers been there?
I don't know. I probably
hopefully whenever nobody else to find out.
I mean, like,
I'd run right at him like a ghost.
Well, because I had my golf clubs were right by the door, and so when I kind of figured out what was going on, I grabbed one and I went through the house, and I was ready to beat somebody.
Yeah, I think in that situation,
because it was like I was so violated. You know, like
absolutely.
Like that's the thing. Like it's like I don't care about the stuff, but you came into my home.
So did you have to go back and interview Coach?
Yeah. So that's where I was going. So I reached out to Mark again, and I was like, hey, this is what happened. And he goes, well, let me see what I can do with the schedule and everything, because I had a certain date that I had to have this by. Coach called me like a few hours later and said, come by my office.
Nice.
And they redid it.
So was it the BTS camera that was still on the old camera for Middle?
No,
Middle's probably take that camera. We don't want it.
No, it was mine. It was my own camera. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
my own
man.
personal camera. I got a new one.
No, I'm mad
out of it. Yeah, it sucked. Man.
I'm gonna go down to Murfreesboro this afternoon and drive around and see what I can see.
I'll tell you more of the story off the air.
Okay, I'm sorry, buddy.
It's a good one. But
all right,
coming up next, we'll get to celebrity birthdays and put a bow on things. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
New home. New energy. Same Blue Raiders.
99 yards! Touchdown, Middle Tennessee!
Catch every game for MTSU on 93.3 Classic Hits. Coach Rick Stockstill is poised to lead his team to yet another bowl appearance.
We're really excited about this opportunity.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you just want to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are legal THC products available right here in Tennessee? Yeah, really. You can have legal THC products shipped directly to the comfort of your home. Yes, comfort in cannabis is only a website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z, and change your life today.
Just a minute, don't hang up.
Hey, we want to hear from all of you. Give us a call or text at 615-737-1025.
Hello. You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel.
Our phone line driven by Wilson County Hyundai.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, tune in to 102.5 The Game this Saturday for Vanderbilt. Commodores will kick off at 3 o'clock on the road in the Swamp against Florida. Pre-game at 1:30. Coverage also available on the 102.5 The Game app and thegamenashville.com. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace coming up in just a few minutes.
Do you remember when sorry to interrupt you there,
No, you're
when Earl Bennett scored that touchdown, they're going to beat Florida, and they called him for a bogus celebration in the end zone?
I remember. Yeah.
Awful.
I was at another quick story. I was at dinner because I had family in town that my grandmother had scheduled, and my dad and I were like really? Because we wanted to watch this game because that was a pretty good Vanderbilt team,
right?
Then. And so we were at P.F. Chang's on West End.
Oh, nice.
And they had one TV in the back, and so Dad and I was strategically be like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. And it was like every 3 minutes, one of us is getting up and going and checking the score. And because I had a phone, but it wasn't like fancy where you could watch it on your phone and everything then. And my grandmother finally was like, what are you two up to? And we're like, the Vandy game's coming down to the wire. And then, of course, she goes, well, go watch it and tell me what happens. So,
all right,
so
see ya. Yeah, that was an awful, awful call.
2007.
Yep.
Well, and because that was when they could actually take a score off the board for excessive celebration.
Yeah, it was just
dumb. It was dumb. That was what Bobby Johnson.
Yeah,
that era. All right, let's get to celebrity birthdays, shall we? Maybe.
There we go. You got Dr. Crane nervous back there. All right, America's favorite game. Remember, it's very simple. Celebrity birthdays, got to get them within 2 years. All right, here we go. Chase McCabe, you're up first today. First birthday, Susan Sarandon. How old is Susan Sarandon?
Great actress. 71.
I'm going to go one higher, 72.
77.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Okay.
So Bull Durham came out in 87, like 35 years ago.
36.
Something like that.
I was born in 87. So.
Okay, there you go.
I know my age.
Actor Christoph Waltz. He was in Inglourious Bastards. He was in Horrible Bosses 2.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the other movie where he won an Academy Award for it.
The King's Speech.
Was he? I don't know. He was in a Brad Pitt movie with Tarantino. Where,
Yeah.
Oh, it was Inglourious Bastards. My bad.
56.
I'm going to go 65.
67.
Really?
Okay. Dr. Crane.
Jeez.
Yeah. Time flies, man. Liev Schreiber. How old is he? He does the voices for
Hard Knocks, right?
Yep. That's correct.
55.
I was going to say 57.
56. That's a push.
Okay.
Good job, guys. Actress Alicia Silverstone from Clueless. How old is she?
She was also in a lot of Aerosmith videos.
She was.
And Batman. I don't know. She's probably like 48.
I'm going to go 59.
47.
Oh, boy.
Boom.
Tied at 1. Good job, Chase, coming back on that. Proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Actress Rachel Lee Cook. Fun fact about her, she's originally from Minneapolis.
What was she in?
Several movies. I have no idea.
Thanks. 43.
48?
44.
Oh, boy.
Chaser with the unknown. Good job, buddy. Always guess. Actress Dakota Johnson. She was in 50 Shades of Grey. She's also daughter of the greatest actor ever, Don Johnson.
38.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going to go 34.
34 exactly.
Nice.
Chase, remember when you invited me over to watch 50 Shades of Grey?
I do, yeah. It was good. You brought nachos. I made pot stickers.
Oh, man. Actor Clifton Davis. He was at the TV show I Am Amen, and also That's My Mama back in the day.
77.
I don't even know. I'm going to go 84.
78.
Oh, yay.
Chaser. Up 3-2. Actor Bill Fagerbaki. He was the coach. He was in the TV show Coach. He's also the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants.
What was his last name?
I just know who he is. I know he was the big dumb guy on Coach. The big coach.
Yeah.
The big dumb coach. He's also the voice of SpongeBob.
64.
Ooh, this is tough. I'm going to go 58.
66.
Uh-oh.
Chaser rolling it up 4-2. Rap producer Russell Simmons. It's tricky.
I'm gonna say like 65.
Man, that's just a sweet spot for these birthdays. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to go 72.
66.
Uh-oh.
Chaser with the slash. He's got 5-2. We'll keep this going here. Keyboard player Chris Lowe, the Pet Shop Boys, one of the singers. There's 2 singers. He's one of the other ones.
51.
56.
64. Singer John Cicada.
I don't know John Cicada.
He was part of the Miami Sound Machine back in the 90s.
60.
64.
62. That's a push. Shouldn't give you guys these clues like that. It's not fair.
I mean, like, if I don't know him, you know.
I know this guy's, but I don't remember what he was in. We're going to skip over that. Country singer, guitarist Heidi Neufeld. She was in Trick Pony, lead singer of Trick Pony. Heidi Neufeld.
47.
53.
53 exactly. It's
Nice.
5-3. It's just getting good now. Who else here? Singer guitar player Mark Roberidge of OAR. OAR.
42.
55.
45 he is. That's it. Chaser, you win. Let me see if there's one more down here.
We'll take
Other
it.
birthdays on this day, people that have passed away. Charlton Heston.
Oh, wow.
Ann Rice and Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton.
Proud of you, Chaser. You won. You got
Thank you.
5, man.
It's a good day.
He was after Willie's record.
Willie will be proud.
Willie has 7 unofficially.
Willie had a good day.
I know Willie was listening today. There's no way he wasn't.
He'll comment. He'll comment. Don't worry about that. Predators season preview show tonight at 6 o'clock. Also on 93.3 Classic Hits, you can hear JoJo and Chip Walters as MTSU takes on Jacksonville State. But coming up next, it's Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace. You'll hear from Mike Vrabel, the latest on the Titans as they get ready for Indianapolis.
As always, remember to our guys out there, we love you. Stay strong. You need to talk to somebody. Please go talk to someone. You can talk to Chase and I. You can find us on all the socials. We love you. We need you around. Have a good day, everybody.
Amen to that. Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace, they're next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This week's Nashville's best deal is 312 Pizza Company, serving the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. It's also a great spot to grab a beer and watch your favorite team on the big screen. 312 Pizza Company, 371 Monroe Street in Germantown. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals and get half off a $30 gift card. It's 312 Pizza Company, Los